Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads. And today, guys, I just gotta say that I love having you all involved in helping choose my reading plans. And that is because today I'm going to have you choose basically half of my reading plans for February. But before we get into that, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel grow. You can check the description box down below for links to all of my social media, including the Discord and the Patreon, if you want to support the channel in a more substantial way. It is always greatly appreciated, though that support goes into video editing, equipment repair, equipment maintenance, software licensing, book hauls, what have you. It is all greatly appreciated, and it helps the channel in a very substantial way. With that spiel out of the way, guys, basically I have got 6 books. There was a 7th, but I removed it because, frankly, it has to be an audiobook, and that doesn't come out till March, and this is a February video. But basically, I've got these 6 books where I am basically caught up on these series. I am one book behind on all of these series. They've all had releases, and I just haven't quite gotten to them yet. And I want you to choose 3 of them and let me know in the comments down below which ones you want me to read in February. That is today's assignment here for you. And we're going to go through these books, and we might touch on why I haven't quite gotten to them yet, but maybe not. This is just supposed to be kind of a fun interaction with you, the viewer, sort of video. I just enjoy these. I used to call these like, help me choose my TBR, but those will only be for one video, or one book. This is for 3 books. Basically, this is half of my TBR. Like, my Patreon gets a pick, these get a pick, and then I've got, I think, only one book selected? No, 2 books selected already for February. And then the rest is completely up in the air, and that's where you guys come in. All right, enough rambling. We've got right here, The Blood-Dimmed Tide by Stephen Aryan. This is book number 2 in Nightingale in the Falcon. I loved book number 1. And when I read book number 1, which is The Judas Blossom, I was like, oh, when book 2 drops out, day 1 read. Obviously, that proved to not be true. That did not happen. And so here we are. We've got Blood-Dimmed Tide. This is Mongolian historical fantasy. I've been told that we're going to kind of be getting away from the historical aspects, and Stephen's going to be kind of doing a little bit more of his own thing here. But still, I've been needing to read this now for, well, since it released in, I believe, the middle of this year. I did purchase it day 1. Like, I had this book in hand, but I haven't quite prioritized reading it. And so this is, well, the first one that you can vote on. So, again, Blood-Dimmed Tide. And then we've got, of course, Rob J. Hayes' Fleet Champions. I love Titan Hoppers. Book 1 and book 2. Wild amounts of enjoyment. I just actually purchased during the last huge Audible sale the audiobook for this because I do enjoy these on audio. And so we do have Rob J. Hayes, Fleet Champions here. This is a fantastic kind of progression series. I'm not going to say it's got lit RPG elements. I would say this is more of a sci-fi progression series, but just fantastic characters with deep, compelling themes, and it's just a lot of fun. And frankly, I love reading Rob J. Hayes books. So yeah, this makes the list. Next up, we have got Howard Andrew Jones, and this is Shadow of the Smoking Mountain. This is book number 3 in Hanavar. I believe this is Chronicles, but this is basically turned into a trilogy. Unfortunately, the author has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and I think this is going to be the final book in the trilogy. So this is kind of a bittersweet goodbye to Hanavar, but at the same time, there is yet to be a Hanavar outing that I didn't absolutely love. This is great sort of sword and sorcery with a little bit of cosmic horror, at least in book 1. There was less of it in book 2. There were some elements, but in book number 3, I have no idea what to expect. I do know that the people who have read it say that they do continue to enjoy the series. And so we've got book number 3 of Hanavar. Book number 1 ended up at least in my top 10. I haven't yet nailed down my top 10 of 2024, but Hanavar is definitely a top 3. Lord of a Shattered Land is a top 3 of 2024 at the very least. If not, it is in contention for being my book of the year. But yes, we've got this here for 2025 in February. And then, of course, Disquiet Gods by Christopher Rocchio. This is Sun Eater. The reason I took a break here is just because books 4 and 5, which is Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man, are just incredibly heavy, poignant, dark stories, especially Kingdoms of Death. That was a dark story. And so I've been kind of just taking a break from Sun Eater. But again, like, the series is almost done, and I need to know. I need to be caught up for when that last book drops, and I can just dive in. So again, we've got Disquiet Gods here for your consideration. And yeah, I've heard small snippets of what could potentially be in this book. And even then, like, I'm not prepared, but I mean, I know I'm going to love it when I get to it. So yes, we've got Disquiet Gods. This is book number 6 in Sun Eater. And I also need to do, like, the short story collections and all that sort of stuff, but that's not what's being included here. I can always go back and fit those in after I'm caught up with the main entries. And then, of course, we've got Eli Monpress. This is Spirit's End. This is the last Eli Monpress book. At the time of recording, I'm actually reading book number 4, which is why I can now include this. I have been meaning to finish out this series all of 2024. It didn't happen. We're now in 2025. And yeah, Eli Monpress has been a great read. I have been loving discovering Rachel Aaron. I've got a bunch of Rachel Aaron's books still on my shelf to discover, as well as I do want to get I believe it's Heartstriker series. I want to purchase the Heartstriker series physically as well, just because I love the way that Rachel Aaron writes. So yes, we have got Spirit's End, the final Eli Monpress book to talk about. And then finally, this should come as no surprise that this is making this list. And this is your chance to make me read this ASAP. We have got Pierce Brown's Lightbringer. And I did not like Dark Age. I didn't love Iron Gold. I have heard Lightbringer is a huge course correction for this series. And yes, these are my Nerdy Ink dust jackets. I love this dust jacket. These are aftermarket dust jackets. I upgraded the entire series, but this is Lightbringer, don't worry. The words are unchanged. It's just a special edition, air quotes, dust jacket. But basically, I've heard this is a course correction for the series, and I really want to know how good of a course correction it has been. I've heard it's not maybe the best in series, but I've also heard that it is a refreshing breath of fresh air because it does such a good job course correcting. And that, guys, as I reach back with a pulled back, is the books that I want you guys to vote on. Over half of these are going to plan to be read in February. You guys just get to decide in the comments down below. Let me know your top 3, and I will correlate the top 3 most requested, and those will be part of my February TBR. But that's really all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you are doing well. Please let me know your votes. Until next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons. Thank you for supporting my passion and my hobby. It means the world to me.